When you grew up in Watertown in the 50s, as a young kid, you idolized Watertown's babe. John Simourian was a three-sport star at Watertown High School. He led the Joe Zeno coached football teams to some great season in the early 1950s. His senior squad captured Watertown's first Class B state championship in 1952. And for his role in that achievement, team captain John Simourian garnered all-scholastic honors. He went on, as he was team captain and twice all-scholastic in baseball, and won the Fred Ostergren Award in 1953 as the outstanding high school baseball player in Eastern Massachusetts. He also played varsity hockey all 3 of his years at Watertown High School under Coach Joe Murphy, proving his ability on the ice as well as the turf. Not surprisingly, he was named the best athlete by his graduating class in 1953. Not surprisingly, he was top student as well. A member of the National Honor Society and later Harvard University class of 1957. Lenny Hill, who replaced the babe at quarterback for Watertown High School, went on to a great collegiate career himself at Boston University, remembers having to fill some very big shoes. But what he recollected most distinctly was the extremely high standards John set and lived up to, not only as a quarterback and an athlete, but as a person. He did everything he could to help me develop, and from the beginning he made me feel like a vital part of the team. And I'm grateful for that. At Harvard, John continued to excel both on and off the field. He played for the varsity football squad for 3 years and was named the team's most valuable player his senior year. He also played 3 years of varsity baseball at Harvard and was named the team captain his senior year. He was named All-New England 1955, 56, and 57, and in 57 won All-Eastern Intercollegiate Honors as well as Harvard's Bingham Award for the year's outstanding student athlete. He was named a first-class student marshal in recognition of his academic and athletic achievements, and later he was inducted into the Harvard Hall of Fame. Upon graduation, he joined the Navy, where he served with distinction as an officer until 1959, whereupon he went to Harvard Business School, graduating in 1961 and becoming president of Lilly Transportation Corporation, which he founded 3 years earlier. Today, Lilly has 700 employees and 3,400 vehicles from Massachusetts to South Carolina. John has remained active in the sporting world, being named director of the New England Sports Museum in 1989. He has kept his roots in the community through his work for the First Armenian Church and the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Watertown's babe, one of the greats, John "Babe" Simourian.
Thank you very much. It's really a thrill for me to be here tonight. First, when Bobby Caprillion called me and told me of this wonderful news, frankly, I didn't believe that I would be standing on this platform with all these wonderful athletes. I would like to first congratulate all the inductees here tonight. I've met some of you. Some of the inductees here tonight, frankly, were my boyhood idols. When you see Billy Boyce and Joe Boyce, those two guys were, when I was a little boy, were the epitome for me in being an athlete. That was reaching for the stars to see if you could be a Billy Boyce or a Joe Boyce, because Joey was a great athlete too. And when I listened to Tommy Oates with his opening statements here tonight, now words that I think are similar, I think, Tom, to when the minister says that when they're preaching to the people in the pews, usually you're preaching to the wrong people, because those are the people that don't need the words. And I think the people here tonight have demonstrated by their presence that they support athletics in Watertown, and they can see the benefits out of the program. There are others that have preceded me here tonight. My wonderful, great coach, George Jankowski. And he's just a wonderful guy. I said to him when we walked in, we happened to walk in almost simultaneously, and I turned around and looked, and there was my wonderful baseball coach, George Jankowski. And I said to him, George, I need to tell you a story. When I read the program and I saw that you were the class of 1940, it occurred to me that you're only 13 years older than me. However, when I was playing for you, I thought you were an old man. I guess when I think about that, I wonder, you know, what my son and what other young people think about us as they look at us. And the other men that have preceded me, I played for Joe Murphy, who was I think the word was passionate. Someone used the word passionate in his coaching. He was a passionate coach. He insisted, you know, that you win. And it was wonderful training. It was just terrific training for all of us. I want to thank the committee, the board of directors of the Watertown High School Hall of Fame, for giving me this wonderful honor. And more importantly, I want to thank them for giving me the opportunity to return here tonight to my roots. I grew up in this area of Watertown, East Watertown. So coming back here tonight has really, you know, opened up the memory trail wonderfully for me. And I guess most importantly, what I really appreciate is the fact that I can share this evening with my family. It isn't often that a person can be in the position of being able to share this type of an evening, you know, once in a lifetime type evening with their family. And if you don't mind, I would like to introduce my family to you. My mother and father, who were extremely strong supporters of Watertown High School athletics. I know my friends can remember, I don't think my parents ever missed a ball game when we were there. And Dad, Mom, why don't you just stand up? I have another strong supporter, and that's my mother-in-law, Mrs. Bagdasarian, who unfortunately has recovering from a broken leg, but my mother-in-law is here. And I'll tell you just a quick little funny line. My sister Carol, who thinks that, and this, maybe this is going to be taken out of context, but so don't, but my sister Carol thinks that I won the Heisman Trophy Award in high school. And her husband, Bill Dwyer. And I'm fortunate enough to have a couple of children. My son John, who is with me in business, and he doesn't, John, why don't you just stand up for a minute? And my daughter, Nicole, is in graduate school. And that's my daughter, and my wife, my wonderful wife, Michelle. I'm also very fortunate that one of the young guys that I grew up with in this town, and has remained my closest friend, Joe Thompson, lives in New Jersey now, came up for this affair, and he brought his whole family. So Joe and Karen and Kara and Alexis, please stand. This evening is about remembering and celebration, and we've seen a lot of that already. And as I think about that, or as you know, remembering and celebrating, what I think about is I tend to try to think about victories, and then you think about the defeats. I think Mrs. Daughters was talking about, you know, the wonderful joy of victory and the agony of defeat. But frankly, as I get older, I can't remember all the events too well anymore. You know, they begin to get a little blurry. But what I do remember is all the wonderful relationships that got built up over those years that was the wonder of it all. And I remember my friends. I am so privileged to have grown up with so many wonderful, wonderful friends. Freddie Alberico, Chuck Papalia, Johnny Giglio, Freddie Sacco, Bobby Caprillion, who played tackle on our team. I mentioned Joe Topshin, Aaron Miller, who's not here tonight, but who was a good old friend of mine. Johnny Carnation, Jack Pagarian, Harry Erdeacon. You know, just names, and as when Tommy Oates said, close your eyes and think, and you know, those were the names that started popping in my head. And Jimmy Lopez. Jimmy Lopez was the quarterback of the Watertown High School before me, and he did more to help me assume that role than any athlete that I ever met. And we played against each other in college. He was at Yale and I was at Harvard. And I was really thrilled to see that the video of, I had forgotten about it, as I said, my memory's getting poor, of my tackling Jimmy in a Harvard-Yale game, which was quite a thrill. And I'm also, I remember the ones that we've lost. A good friend, Coco Gugordia. Another one, Butch Gaipo, was a wonderful halfback. And the great, great, great coach, Joe Zeno. Excuse me, Warren. I just want to tell you one thing about Joe Zeno. Joe Zeno, probably more than any man in my life, other than my father, had more effect on my life. He taught me about, not only about how to play football, and he was a better football coach than any coach I ever had, in college included, but he taught me about life. He taught me how to remain in control. I always remember when he first came to me and said, after Jimmy Lopez graduated, he said, John, you're going to be the quarterback next year. I was a halfback, and I used to like to run. And frankly, I couldn't throw the ball very well at all. And he said, oh, I'll teach you how to throw. But mostly what I'm going to teach you how to do is how to think, because that's what I want my quarterback to do. Joe used to call the plays for the Washington Redskins. He called them for Sammy Baugh. Some of the younger kids in the audience don't know who Sammy Baugh was, but he was probably the greatest quarterback that ever lived. But that's the type of friends that I have. As I stand here and think, I think that God has blessed me with a wonderful family and wonderful friends, both of whom have given to me something very special. And so, as I look at this wonderful award that has been given to me tonight, I think I accept it, not for me, but for